Ms. Harrington, there was a CISA video on YouTube that had the fictional character, I think her name was Susan or Sharon, and she was being, she said that the idea was that she had interacted with her uncle on social media. He was posting things that were disinformation or malinformation or something like that. And it concluded with a recommendation that she report the disinformation from her uncle. CISA took that down. Why did CISA take that video down?
Representative, respectfully, I'm not aware of that. That must predate my time. I'm not at all familiar with that.
How about Mr. Kahangama? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not familiar with that video.
All right, let me ask you generally, Mr. Kahangama, and then I'll go back to Ms. Harrington. How have DHS and CISA's efforts or activity in concerning dealing with disinformation, misinformation, malinformation changed as in consequence of the Missouri versus Biden preliminary injunction's been upheld by the Fifth Circuit or otherwise since the last election?
Thank you, Chair, for the question. While I understand and am aware of the Missouri v. Biden case, I understand that that is still ongoing pending litigation in front of the Supreme Court, and so I'm unable to speak to the specifics of that case. But what I will say is that the department and its work in combating disinformation in defense of its specific mission areas is done with robust oversight in coordination with civil rights and civil liberties, our statutorily mandated offices, as well as in close coordination with our Office of General Counsel.
Well, see, that's what concerns me, is that's been said to us for a number of years. In fact, it's always been said by CISA, by DHS, that the recital that we're concerned about rights under the First Amendment, and we always are carefully taking action to avoid infringing those or abridging free speech. And yet, a district court has found, an appellate court has affirmed that, and of course it's still pending for final determination. So I'm not asking you about the facts or the determinations in that case. What I'm asking you is, let me put it this way, because I asked you how things have changed, whether things have changed. Since that decision has been made, has DHS changed the way it deals with disinformation?
Again, thank you for the question, Chair. I'm not in a position to answer anything as it relates specific to the implications of that case.
All right, let me ask this then. Since the last election, disregard the case if you want to, how is DHS dealing with disinformation differently than it did then?
Thank you, Chair, for the question. DHS's approach to election security has been around election infrastructure, making sure that they are preventing the infrastructure from being impacted by cybersecurity issues and working to advance the mission of state and local partners that we trust as the authoritative voices on elections in this election space.
Yeah, but I didn't ask you about how you're protecting like elections infrastructure from hacking and so forth. What I'm asking you about are your efforts vis-a-vis disinformation. Let me just ask you, you still have an MDM team, don't you?
I do not have one at the Department of Homeland Security. All
right, Ms. Harrington, is there still an MDM team at CISA?
Representative, yes. We
Okay.
still have an MDM team.
How is the MDM team and the other efforts relating to the MDM team concerning disinformation, how have you changed those at CISA?
Representative, the work that we do around MDM are threefold. One, we are putting out literacy documents.
Don't give me a discourse about with three parts. What I'm asking you is, what's changed? What's changed, if anything? If you're proceeding in dealing with disinformation in exactly the way you did then, which you've contended respects all First Amendment rights, notwithstanding evidence to the contrary, say that. But otherwise, I want you to tell me how it's changed. How have you changed your practices in this area?
Representative, respectfully, I'm not aware of direct changes to the ongoing litigation.
I'm not trying to qualify it in terms of the fact that we covered that with Mr. Kahangama. What I'm asking is, leave aside the litigation. Since the election in 2020, how have you changed, has CHS changed the way you're dealing with disinformation?
Representative, I can tell you the three ways that we deal with disinformation and counter foreign influence.
So you can't tell me how you've changed them?
First of all, going back to 20, my tenure, that predates my tenure at the agency, but I'm happy to tell you what we are doing.
Are you aware, by virtue of policies you've been exposed to, managerial discussions at CISA, whether there have been changes to the way CISA addresses disinformation?
Representative, I'm not aware of what you're referencing as far as changes.
Okay, you're not aware of any. That's concerning to me. By what justification does a government agency tasked with curtailing and preventing computer hacking stray into governing or babysitting Americans' free speech on social media?
Representative, respectfully, we don't censor.
Okay. What is the source of authority for DHS? You know, Ms. Clark said in her questioning on our first panel, and I think she's exactly right, that CISA and, excuse me, I see my time's expired and I've let it go over. Let me just stop there and yield back, and I recognize the ranking member, Mr. Ivey, for his 5 minutes.